Hello there, welcome along to Business Today. I'm Jorum Ssonko with Winnie Williams and Akochi on sign language. We get more from our daily report tonight, out of which we start with the promotion of organic farming. Now, in response to the danger of the Sahara Desert moving south, Uganda's organic agriculture industry began to expand in 1994. A national organic agriculture movement was started in 2001 with the aim of accelerating the sector's growth. Organic products have a large untapped market in the Western countries. We have more in this report.
We should promote organic agriculture in order for us to tap into a lucrative market, global market for organic products. The organic products is so big, we can't exhaust it, even if the entire country got converted and we abandoned inorganic and we started practicing only organic agriculture. It is so huge and it is so lucrative. The prices for organic products are so good.
When it comes to adopting organic agriculture, Uganda ranks second in Africa. However, there are still obstacles like certification that prevent the promotion and adoption of organic agriculture. Additionally, the State Minister for Agriculture has urged stakeholders in the ministry to work together and find answers to the challenges facing the sector's players.
Globally, the demand for organics is increasing, and the value of this demand stands at over 106 billion 106 billion euros. And Uganda is exporting and reaping less than $100 million. So there is a very huge potential for Uganda to harness that market which is available globally. The quantities, the volumes, and the quality, including the safety. And these are limited by the kind of inputs that we use. We lack the inputs, particularly the fertilizers, organic agriculture fertilizers. We also lack other agro inputs, and the cost is high. So we have issues of poor availability, poor affordability, and accessibility of the agro inputs, especially the organic agriculture fertilizers. So today we are here.
This tool, together with the participatory guarantee system, will ease the cost of certification and promote trust between the producers and the consumers of organic products from our country. I work closely with NOGAM to promote and commercialize this particular innovation and any other innovations.
The promotion of organic agriculture strives to eliminate the use of potentially hazardous synthetic inputs. According to the most recent data from 2021, Uganda is steadily making progress in this direction.
All right, now let's look at the 13th CEO Forum. The private sector has been urged to engage in sustainable governance in addition to corporate responsibility during the 13th CEO Forum. The Right Honourable Justin Lumumba Kasule, Minister of General Duties, did note that the growth and sustainability plans must and should include any strategy for environmental and social governance. We have more of this report.
The chief executive officers, bankers, and academicians attended the 13th CEO Forum themed Beyond Sustainability Strategic Choices That Matter, where the Right Honourable Justin Lumumba Kasule, the Minister for General Duties, was the chief guest. It's from this same event that most of the experts believe that spending more money on sustainable business methods may seem contradictory in order to increase the company's profitability, yet studies have shown that most of the profitable businesses are also the most sustainable. Accordingly, the Right Honorable Justin Lumumba Kasule, the Minister for General Duties, challenged the business people to partake in sustainability governance.
As CEOs, there is indeed a need to purpose beyond profit, have shared value journey and business sustainability.
According to Stephen Mukasa, the country team leader CEO Summit, they are focusing on the sustainability of businesses, society, and the Mother Earth, adding that at the center of their discussion are 3 Ps. These are profit, people, and planet.
Captains of industry in the room, leaders in the room, are we taking care of the needs of today without compromising those who are coming after us? We talk about the famous 3 Ps or the 3 Es, talking about people, planet, profit. That is also called the triple bottom line of sustainability, or talking about economy, the environment, and equity. How can we find a common ground of all the 3? How can we find the equilibrium?
Her Excellency Susan Ngongi Namondo, the UN resident coordinator in Uganda, notes that there is a need to shift from disjointed approaches to mechanisms that bring together groups of companies responding to specific challenges, saying that they will need an organized platform to promote dialogue and build synergies among stakeholders and business actors.
Is doing their own thing in their own corner, making important efforts, but in their own corner. And I think there's need for us to be able to have greater gains against the development results, and we do need greater gains against our development results. We need to find some way of banding these efforts under common outcomes and building synergy.
Where we are today in 2022, I think we have matured a great deal, and we are now ready to tackle more comprehensive issues, and issues of existential nature, issues which affect our very survival, and therefore we need to focus on sustainability.
They further highlighted that gone are the days when one would focus on just profit at the expense of society and the environment. Pedson Mumbere, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
And now let's look at the aviation industry performance. The volume of air traffic has a significant impact on how well air transportation operates. According to the Uganda Civil Aviation Authority, the size of Uganda's of a country's economy as measured by GDP determines more than 90% of its air traffic. Now, the activities and the aviation traffic in Uganda will both increase as the country's economy continues to improve. Ronan Ahawe gives us a deep insight about the accountability and future prospects of the aviation industry.
As part of the general improvement and growth of Entebbe International Airport, Uganda Civil Aviation Authority has achieved a number of milestones throughout the years, including the building of a 100,000 tons cargo center, expansion of the passenger terminal building. The departure area is now in operation. People can now access the departure road and drop off passengers there. Furthermore, Uganda has signed a total number of 51 bilateral air service agreements with different nations, 27 of which are now in operation. The Stakeholders Engagement Breakfast often provides an opportunity to talk with the important stakeholders and update the key participants in the market. The Minister of State for Works and Transportation is pleased to see that the passenger traffic is rising and has urged them to keep growing so that the industry becomes more competitive and appealing. He also reinstates government's commitment to the airline despite its controversies.
In the statistics presented by the DG, I'm not worried that we set out to expand the cargo center by 100 to 100,000 and now it is small. I think that's a plus. That's good. It shows that our country, people are responding. Yeah, people are responding to what we are doing. So let's fight the malpractices at the airport. You know them. We have discussed those malpractices, those small things. It's usually the small things which spoil the good ones. Yeah? The way we treat customers, customer care, those small things we have been discussing. Let's address them. Yeah? Let's make the people who are working there love the job, be proud to serve. Really, first impression is a lasting impression. The airport is our first impression point. Somebody coming in and being mistreated at that airport or being handled badly will go away with a very negative image.
The Entebbe Airport Free Zone, which is at 40% complete, will be in the air cargo facility whose construction is in the future plans of the government.
But because we still have land at Entebbe International Airport, we think we can still get more space.
Some improvements at the Entebbe International Airport have been made by the Civil Aviation Authority's internal funding, and UPDF has carried out the construction by additional funding which is required to complete the project.
One is the expansion and of the airport facilities such as departure and arrival, which is being done, completed by UPDF, and that is expected to be completed in May 2023. And departure and arrival issues will now be clear. Okay? But there are many that have been completed, that aprons have been completed. That is the other modernization and expansion project done by phase 1 of the loan from China. And right now that phase 1 is being completed. The last project is the expansion of the terminal building, 20,000 square meters.
By December 2023, phase 1 of the Kampala International Airport, which is now at 80% completion, will be operational. It must have its own amenities to qualify as a backup airport, such as those that allow for easier transit of cargo through the region.
It was a project which was already, we did a feasibility study and costed, but when we went to Parliament, Parliament said you can't absorb all this money at a go. So they said phase it. Phase 1, they gave us $200 million US. So phase 2, we are coming back for the $125 million so that we finish the whole modification.
In terms of accountability, the Director General claims that the organization is prepared for the next audit and that all the essential initiatives from the previous audit have been carefully reviewed.
And there is the International Civil Aviation Organization, which is responsible for managing, ensuring that all the skies are safe and all operations about airlines are safe. So they carry out audits, they call them audits every year, not every year. They alert you as a country, we shall come to audit you on such and such a time. And they audit a lot of things, so they look out for a lot of things, not only CAA, how it's organized, how it is run, how the airport is run, what are the safety measures at the airport. For example, can somebody smuggle a bag with arms at the airport? They look at all those things.
The observations are developed into an action plan for what has been seen as needing improvement, and we continue from there. And right now, these facilities you are seeing are the results of a response to area audits, especially in terms of facilities. So it is an ongoing project. It is not that we are waiting until ICAO comes and then we are doing this. No. Every day is a day of preparations, is a day of simulating our programs and see whether they are working, both in our own facilities but also in facilities of operators. When they audit Uganda Airlines, or one of the ATOs, the training organizations, they actually are also auditing the state, as the minister said. And the state, the oversight system of the state, also includes the Civil Aviation Authority.
Entebbe International Airport has the capacity to accommodate an estimated number of 1,840,264 passenger traffic. The majority of the airport's operations are still in place, and travelers can still access much of it, despite the fact that it is currently undergoing a series of renovations that are scheduled to be finished in 2035. Ronana Habwe, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
All right, now let's look at Kampala's new public transport guidelines. A variety of things do change as the year comes to an end, with increased demand on business and transportation. The Kampala Metropolitan Affairs Ministry, the Ministry of Transportation, and the police have therefore developed regulations for the transportation industry, but especially for the buses. and the taxis. Let's have more in this report.
Kavyecho Fatogavye, the State Minister for Kampala, released new guidelines aimed at improving public transportation in the city, which includes buses and taxis must only pick up and drop off passengers at specified terminals and parks. Additionally, all public transportation booking offices and the kiosks that operate outside of the parks and bus terminals are also prohibited.
Offices, kiosks, and booking desks outside the gazetted parks should close with immediate effect. There should be no booking of passengers outside the gazetted bus terminals and taxi parks. In short, if you're going to Namaiba bus terminal, it is an abomination, and I'm saying every kiosk around the streets of Eren Road, Namirembe Road, Makai Road should not even be seen by this time tomorrow. All buses and taxis should return to their designated terminals and parks for loading and off-roading. No bus, I repeat, no bus, and I repeat, no bus or taxi should offload or load on the streets of Kampala. All blockers should be removed from bus terminals, taxi parks, and the streets with immediate effect. Bus parks and bus owners should arrange to have minimum guides agreed upon between the bus owners and park management.
He also warns owners of vehicles to follow the laws and do not drive without necessary documentations, such as passenger service vehicle, PSV license, a route map, and a third-party insurance. Additionally, he suggested that the appropriators of taxis and buses test outline passenger booking softwares.
Bus operators and taxi operators are encouraged to use online booking services where applicable or where possible. No vehicle should operate without statutory requirements, including PSV, route charts, and third-party insurance. The Uganda Police and the KCCA should immediately start enforcing these measures mentioned above.
The Commissioner for Transport, Regulation and Safety at the Ministry of Transport, Winston Katshabe, warned transport operators against hiking transport fares during the festive season.
You recall some time back we had a similar challenge, and we invited bus owners, we invited taxi owners, the leaders, and agreed that before any fares are adjusted, they should write to the Honorable Minister of Works and Transport justifying the increase, because more often, yes, we know there are forces of demand and supply, but sometimes, you know what they call like extortion. Even when you are supposed to increase maybe by 10,000 or 5,000, because you are taking advantage of the festive season, and maybe increase by 100% or 500%.
Smart 24 TV followed up with bus terminals and tax parks regarding the above guidelines, and the results appear promising given that certain bus terminals have complied by ceasing operation outside the gazetted areas.
I think government saw something in relation to how we've been operating the brokers, and they came up with a suggestion to close our field offices. And as Link, we do not have any problem with that, and we are complying definitely, because after all, it is something that we have been doing because of circumstances. But had it not been circumstances of issues to do with security of our customers, our passengers being cheated, because they go down there and people who I may say have no address will end up charging them, for example, 70,000 for a route or a journey that costs like 50,000 or 40,000.
bus and taxi drivers, as well as members of the general public, have complained to the government on numerous occasions about brokers in public transportation who take advantage of defenseless customers and extort money. Therefore, an online booking platform for travelers will not only speed up the booking process, but also stop stakeholders from losing money to middlemen. Design Nambiru, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Now, the opposition lawmakers have voiced their dissatisfaction over the 452 million shillings budgeted for the Anti-Corruption Day celebrations scheduled for this month, 9th December. Instead, they have recommended that the government should allocate the funds towards building health centers and schools for the residents of Ibanda district rather than holding those celebrations. We have more of this report.
Uganda will join the rest of the world in commemorating International Anti-Corruption Day, which will be held on Friday in Ibanda district. A number of lawmakers have suggested that the 452 million shillings that would be spent on the festivities be used to develop hospitals and schools for the residents of Ibanda.
Expected you to have seen what the president of Tanzania has done, and I thought you'd borrow a leaf from her. Honestly, we have spent a lot of money in non-productive things, celebrating 400 billion to celebrate 41 million that has been recovered. Are we sincere with ourselves? Right, Honorable Speaker? We have a saying in my language that a fish gets rotten from the head. And I wanted to say, it is very unfortunate that we have gone ahead to domesticate many of these laws that these people make from outside that don't benefit us as human beings here in Uganda.
According to the MPs, the government should take the lead in combating corruption and should begin by cancelling the celebrations and putting the allocated money to good use.
Now that the House has listened to the statement by the Honourable Minister of State for Ethics and Integrity regarding commemoration of the Anti-Corruption Day, and having listened to the response from the Shadow Minister, and having debated the same statements, Right Honourable Speaker, that the House is moved to urge government to channel the funds so allocated for commemoration, the equivalent of more than 450 million, to support the victims of corruption in Ibanda district and do away with the celebration of the commemorations, Right Honourable Speaker. That the same money, by staying in Ibanda, the community will not be disadvantaged or undermined, but instead, schools, health centers are selected to benefit from this money instead of raising banners, balloons, and tents, Right Honourable Speaker. I so move, Right Honourable Speaker.
At this moment, the opposition leader moved in Parliament to hold the festivities, but the majority of the NRM members voted against it.
Right and to the contrary. The noise have it. For clarity, the motion has failed. For clarity.
In light of the fact that the majority of the necessary things have already been purchased, Second Deputy Prime Minister Rukia Nakadama has informed Parliament that it is currently impossible to postpone the festivities.
Right Honourable Speaker, I want to say that preparations for this day started some time back, and they are already in high gear to celebrate this day. Money has already been spent in some activities because the activities are not only for that day. So some money has already been spent. I'm requesting members, honorable colleagues, that maybe if we want such a program to take place, we can come in a bit early so that we don't channel that money to that day and we put it to other activities.
Government figures in 2021 showed that the estimated cost of corruption is at 9.1 trillion shillings per year, which is equivalent to 44% of government revenue in 2019. Samlanifa, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
And now let's look at violence against women and girls. The issue of gender-based violence will receive funding when the 2023-2024 budget is processed, according to the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Honourable Thomas Tayaba, who has informed lawmakers that when productive women and girls are affected, the economy is directly impacted. We have more in this report.
About 6,000 girls are reportedly trafficked and sexually exploited, yet even when these cases reach the police, the defendants are known found guilty, since there isn't enough money to pursue these cases.
And girls, Right Honourable Speaker, when we talk about violence against women, it's not only physical violence. There is online violence against women. You have seen this. You all know about the most recent case. I don't want to talk about it. But violence against women occurs in different forms. Close to 6,000 girls in this country are trafficked. And most of these end up being exploited sexually. These girls, some as young as 12, 13 years. Ladies and gentlemen, ending violence against women and girls cannot be a responsibility of any single sector. It is a responsibility of everybody.
Saropendi says government has left the issues of gender-based violence to only the private sector and NGOs, and up to now there are no shelters to house the victims of gender-based violence.
But because they are poorly investigated, due to lack of funding, securing a conviction remains a challenge. So, Right Honourable Speaker, it's Parliament's responsibility to appropriate funds. As some of the women and girls seek for justice, they have nowhere to run to, where to stay as they try to pursue their cases. It cannot be an issue for the civil society, for the NGOs, to find safe places where these people can be. We, as the Uganda Women's Parliamentary Association, are calling upon government to at least build shelters where women and girls that are facing violence can at least take some refuge in the meantime as they pursue justice.
The Deputy Speaker of Parliament underlined in his remarks that gender-based violence should not be treated lightly because it undermines the productivity of women and girls. He also gave the MPs the assurance that this issue will receive funding during the 2023-2024 budgeting process.
Epidemic proportions, which has devastating impacts on health, well-being, education aspirations, livelihood, and future socio-economic productivity of girls, and can reverse generations of work towards gender equality and women's empowerment. This continues to have direct financial implication on the government's budget expenses and is a key constraint harnessing the demographic dividend. I commit, and on behalf of this institutional parliament, to ensuring that issues of gender-based violence, maternal health, and sexual reproductive health rights and services are incorporated in the 2023-2024 national budget.
Deputy Speaker of Parliament has also cautioned legislators to engage their communities on matters to do with domestic violence or violence against women and girls so that Parliament can help them. Samlanifa, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
And many thanks for being part of Business Today wherever you are. I'm Jorum Ssonko with Wed-07-Dec on sign language. Have yourselves a blessed night. Till tomorrow. Good evening.
Smart 20.